let me start with XRP, and I'll just start off with a simple thing here. I'm just looking at this channel and potentially the breakout of it here, and if it breaks out, I believe it's going to head up to around 35 or so. There's an impulse here on the 5 minute. It may come back down, do a correction to 32.28, but I actually think it's going to break up, and I'll tell you why. So part of the challenge is where it's testing at the moment is, you can see, this is my support and resistance chart, but you can see this red channel. You can see this red channel here, this one here, yeah? So it's back testing to get back into it again, so. And then this red line here is a 4-hour support and resistance line. So I do believe that it'll break back into this. If not now, it might come down, have to go back up again. And generally the target, I think, is going to be around this 4-hour support and resistance line up here around 37, 38. But for now, it looks like it's doing a 1-2 for an impulse up. Potentially that's what's shown, yeah. When I zoom in, on the EMAs, is the bottom left here, the circle in yellow. This is the 1 hour. So you can see that 20 is the 20 and the 55 are sitting on, the wicks are sitting on top of each other at the moment. So if they cross over, it can create a bit of a pump up, yeah. If I go over to the top left, again I'm going to circle that one in red. You can see on the 5 minute, you see this 5 minute impulse, and the 20 cross down through the 55, and this is the drop down from it, yeah. So when you look at the 5, it looks like it's going to do a correction, but then when you look at the hour, it's back testing to the 55 on the 20, the bottom left, yeah. So that's what I'm looking at. I think it's going to bounce off the 20 and 55 and the hour and potentially head back up. So the reason why I think that is when I look at the MAs, is when I go to, I'm on the 15 minute, and then when I go down to the bottom screen, the box on the third from the left, this is the stock RSI, and the 15 minutes at the bottom here. So that's ready to go up. So it looks like on the 5 minute it's doing a little bit of a correction. When I go to the 5 minute now, is you see the 5 minute was coming down here. So it looks like the 5 minute might need to reset itself at the bottom and then head back up. So when I look at how little it's come down and the stock down here is getting down, it looks like it's getting ready for the 15 minute to give it a pump, yeah. So it looks like there's at least another leg up. And then here's that red channel line that it's trying to break back into, yeah. On the hour, again, back in the stock, you can see the hour is in the overbought, and again that would indicate that it's gonna come back down, yeah. But I suspect that possibly that may stay up high here and do a bit of a run here, rather than come straight back down. And I could be wrong on that, because if it does come down, it will do that correction to 32.30 or so. It's a 786 correction. When you put a fib on this here, yeah. The 786 would be 32.30 or so, yeah. So that's more of a challenge here, and the same with the 4 hour. The 4 hour stock is at the top as well. So potentially what I think is going to happen is you get this one. Where is it? Here. So potentially just a 1-2. You get the push away. Wave 3. Then you get a sideways in it. You get like a W in it, and then you get the final lift up, and that's wave 3 here. You get a 4, and then you get a 5. Yeah. So it could zigzag its way up, something like this. So I do believe that if I got this right, is the 1 hour can stay high all the way up to here, and then the 1 hour can correct, because the 4 hour is going to push it all the way up to here, and by the time the 4 hour gets it all the way up to here, then the 4 hour will be ready to correct as well, and then I think we start to have a bit more of a drop down where the 4 hour will go. Potentially, we'll see if it works. Yeah, we'll see if it works. But this seems to have bottomed out, and it's on its way back up. Yeah, and if we go back then to the arc here, what am I talking about? There is, you got this small arc here. You got skyline, resistance peak. You've got second spike here, third spike here. Is, I believe this was first drop. It is quite, there's a lot of sideways here, so this is all happening pretty fast. So there may be a bit more of a sideways dragging along here trying to break this, but eventually it will head up to Mountain Peak. Yeah, and if I put the fib from the bottom here all the way to the top here, generally the correction will come up to a minimum 0.5, and potentially all the way up to the 786. So from say 36 to 38, 39 or so. Yeah, somewhere in this range. I reckon this I said it before, I reckon this 4 hour support and resistance line would be a natural move for it. So you can see here's a 4 hour resistance line. You can see it bounced along it here, it dropped down to it, you know, and probably a pump back up to it along the way. Yeah, so that's what I think is happening. Yeah, but again, this may drag on sideways a little bit more here. But I suppose what I'm trying to say is the 4 hour doesn't have time. Like the 4 hour doesn't have time to reset to the bottom. If this is the bottom here, there isn't space for the 4 hour to reset. So therefore, it tells me that the 4 hour is going to stay high on the stock and keep pushing up, which could pull the hour up with it. That's what I'm thinking. Yeah, the hour absolutely could reset, but it doesn't need to. It doesn't need to if the 4 hour takes over. Yeah. So that's anything else I want to talk about here? No, that's it for now. So back to the simplicity of a chart here. The correction here, it could come back down to a 786 at 32.30, and I'm in a nice. I got a beautiful long in here from 32. This wick down to yesterday to 31.83, and my entry point was 32. So absolutely beautiful position. And I want to stay in for the longer lift here, so I'm tempted to take 30-35% profit here. But I think I'll just let this play out and roll on. So even if it comes back to this, I'll be like, well, I could have taken that profit today and jumped in again, but I think actually it's going to break up and break out of this channel. If you look at the touches here, the drop into it, there's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and here's 7. So it does look like the time for it to push up, yeah. And this is part of the wave that I was talking about. Is here we go. The 1, 2, then the push away. You get the first push away, wave 3, is you get a sideways, you get a sideways W pattern in it, and then you get the final push of wave 3. Then you get 3, 4, and then you get 5 up here. Yeah. something like that. Normally the W in on the way up to Mountain Peak is big, so there's just normally a big. I used to call it the hole. There's normally a big hole. There's normally a big back test in it. Yeah. So when this does pump, I think it'd be a good time to take profit here, let this do its reset, and then hop in again. So that's what I'm thinking of. So that's it. Is what I say to you about looking for an entry point. Is again, this is a bit risky what I'm going to say. So as hard to read as it is I believe this is going to potentially turn around, head back up. Is if it breaks 33.35, what we have is a breakout of this channel. We have a breakout of this channel. We have a back test. Is it failed? If it comes back up and breaks it again, if it breaks this level, it looks like it's going to head on for continuation. The only risk with it is that if this is going to do another lift here, turn around and drop back down. So I would suggest if you're looking for a long, if you see it break the high here, is put a long in, but put a tight stop loss on it. Probably put the stop loss back below this line at say 33. So if your entry point was say 33.4, your stop loss was 33 or so. That's a fair risk to reward, yeah. But that's how I would play that. But we'll see what happens, yeah. Keep a close eye on the 15-minute. The 15-minute stock is when you start to see that rise, then you know the push up is coming, yeah. So we start to see that rise. So we yeah, it may just capitulate. It may do a retest before this comes back up. But we'll see. It's playing. I think it's going to hold. Yeah. When you want to look at the EMAs, is watch on the 5-minute and see if the 5-minute actually starts reversing. The 20 here starts to reverse back up. That's what you'll be looking for. A reversal on the 5, and then the 15 is holding, and then bottom left or bottom right, the hour is holding. So if you see a turn of an hour and the 20 crosses over the 55 here, is probably going to get a nice pump on it. So just be ready. Okay, that's it for me now. I will hand you over to Mihaela.
It's actually a good thing that I started now with the S&P, because it's nice to see that the S&P finished yesterday with a support here, and it finished by resetting the 4-hour RSIs. So everything's reset here on this support and resistance level. So what we need to see today when the S&P opens around New York time, 9 o'clock, 9:30 New York time, is this level holding. I believe this level will hold because, again, it's done its reset in the RSI, it's done its reset in the momentum. The 1 hour is floored, the 4 hour is floored. From here, it might do just a start of the session, slight, like a pierce through this level, and then come up. But it's already done its reset here. So from here, I'm gonna move on to Ethereum, which shows Ethereum kept its momentum yesterday, and I'm happy that when we were planning the shorts on Monday, when we were planning the trades, I put this target here, thinking that Ethereum won't go back to base because of all of the support that it has here on the left side, and it came to a T. So it didn't drop all the way down the way XRP and Bitcoin did. It stayed up here because of the support it built. And then it came up, it broke this level, it consolidated on it, and to me, I don't think there's anything stopping Ethereum from getting to 1650 at the moment. Yes, the 1 hour RSI is heading down a little bit for the moment, but it's I believe the 15 minutes has recovered and it will push it to the target. Now from 1650, it's quite interesting what will happen, and I'll show you why. So this is the 1650 level, and breaking the 1650 level means breaking the neckline of this peak formation. So there, while I would still plan my trades level by level, if it breaks the 1650, it looks set to go higher towards the 1800s, and you know, maybe even 1800s for the moment, because I don't want to be too overly optimistic and say 2100. But this looks like it's where it is right now, the space that it is in, the space that it back tested and it's holding, it looks like it's gonna go to the 1650. And just to be on the safe side, I know I have 1655, but I would set my target to maybe 1645, a little bit under this line, even though there is a lot of support and resistance, consolidation, not support and resistance, consolidation along this support and resistance line here on the left. So that's where we are with Ethereum in the short term.
How close were you yesterday with your short on XRP?
What do you mean?
Remember, it was you were less than 0.002 cent.
Yes.
Your target, you just
I had, not yesterday, it was 2 days ago. It was, yeah. So my target for XRP was 31.80, and it came down to 31.83.
Yeah. Less than 10%.
Less than
well, 0.2%.
Yeah, and my Bitcoin trade yesterday, the target was 19,711, and it came down initially. It got hit, but initially it came down to 19,713, literally 2 cents. But look,
insane,
insane,
Crazy.
just crazy.
It's crazy that the accuracy of the levels, you know.
Yeah, the levels, but I really enjoyed, like with Ethereum, what I personally have a hard time with mapping out its levels is all the intermediary sideways. You see how it has these intermediary sideways? These are essential for intraday trades. So if you're running a trade on the day, you want to check the immediate consolidation so that you find the level for that rather than the level for the whole movement. Let me move this up here. Yeah, because XRP and Bitcoin came down to here. They confirmed this line. Ethereum didn't, because of what was happening here. Okay, so that's it. I believe today we're gonna see probably a couple of hours of sideways. It's what time is it in the UK? Is this your
2 hours ahead, isn't it?
2 hours ahead? But this is, let me see, London is 10 o'clock. London's 10 o'clock. And New York starts at, yeah, so probably 3 hours from now we're gonna have a whole lot of sideways here, holding the 20 and the 55 EMAs are essential here on Ethereum. So after that we're probably gonna see a lift to the 1650, and from there onwards move higher. Now the only thing is, we need this level, we need the 1530, this level here, the yellow line in the middle, to hold, because if it back tests and it breaks the 20 and it breaks the 55 and it reaches this level, we can't have it breaking again, because then this will turn into an M, and this M can take us all the way down. So that would be where I would have, if I were longing, I would put a stop loss below this yellow line, because I don't want this to come back to the yellow line and break it, and then I would be in this downward spiral. That can happen if the yellow line doesn't hold. It looks like it will hold though. That's my opinion. It's the same for Bitcoin where it is right now. The only difference between Bitcoin and Ethereum is how far Bitcoin actually went. So it broke the previous high by a little bit, by literally a couple of cents, and then came up, and it is holding now this line. And if it holds this line, the next level is up here. What did I want to say about Bitcoin? The same thing as for, oh, not the 4 day, the 4 hour. The 4 hour stochastic has crossed upwards. So I entered, I did a long from here to about here because, and I took my profit because I didn't like the way the 4 hour stochastic was heading down, and sometimes that has a tendency to push down. But now it's crossed upwards and this level is holding. So again, this would be a good entry point in this back test for the next level, 21,200. I have my target at 21,200, and that would be about 50% profit. Now, the way I'm looking at this pattern is it being a W. So this was an M here. I'm going to remove it now, and I'm going to put a W. So this here, no. So one leg, midpoint, one leg, and from here, when it's going to cross this little peak in the middle of the in the middle of the W here, this is, I think, what's gonna carry it to the next level. So it's a nice W. I believe this W has the potential of bringing the target higher, up to maybe the late 21K rather than the early 21K. I would be happy to get my profit here, considering all of this happened on that line. So I would take the profit there and see what's going to happen. Watch for holding this line, and if it holds this line, then I believe we might see a 22.5, 23 for Bitcoin. But in the meantime, what we need to see for the 2 sessions is the holding, for the 2 sessions and the UK and the US, and for the 2 coins, is the holding of the support line it's on. It's incredible that they're all moving the way they're moving, and they get to be at the same crossroads, so to say. So they have to hold the support and resistance line right now. I think the 15-minute stochastic is floored, so it needs to make a little bit of a recovery. And at the moment, if I start traders reality to see where we are, yes. So this, again, what I find absolutely unbelievable is this long-term support and resistance line that I've been using for weeks. At some point, it becomes essential, and it is in confluence with an important daily or weekly level. Here, the weekly level is the psychological high that it needs to hold, and the psychological high, when it breaks the psychological high, then the next one to test is the pivot point. And if the pivot point breaks, then the sentiment changes and we're coming down. Same for, we have the same situation for Ethereum. The only difference between Ethereum and Bitcoin is the distance that Ethereum has from the psychological high. Ethereum is miles from the psychological high, whereas Bitcoin is right on it. Now, Ethereum has a slightly different anatomy here because the pivot point is before the psychological high, so it gives us a red flag there. If we break the pivot point at 1520, which pivot point is this line, is the 1525 line. If that line breaks, that means sentiment changes, and I personally would stay out of a trade and check to see what happens when that's met and how that is met. But I believe for the next couple of hours we might see a lot of sideways, either both ways, for orders to be collected, and then when New York starts, when New York starts and the volume starts, we might see a nice lift. Bitcoin is holding again the 4-hour trend line very nicely. It is outside of the daily channel still, but the backtest to 22.4 here of the 55 and this channel, so this lift would totally suit the progress of this breakout. So we can still have this lift, a backtest of this daily channel, and then come down for a double bottom. We can still have that. There would be nothing wrong with that happening. So that's it for me. Have a good day trading, and let me know in the chats if you have any questions.